What's up, y'all? It's your boy Muchigo back once again with another album review, and today we are going to talk about Scaring the Hoes by JPEGMAFIA and Danny Brown. So, man, it's a lot to unpack with this one. This album is amazing, yo. Took me 5 or 6 listens to get here, but now that I'm really acclimated with the album, man, he got my stamp. Like, this is amazing. Let's talk about the cover. From the cover art, it's iconic. It's from something that people will remember. You got JPEGMAFIA in the center, Danny Brown on the side, with the hose, and the polysirens, the guns, the Bible, everything. Like this, from the cover art, you can understand that you are in for a ride, a big adventure, and for chaos with this album. I think this collaboration came about after JPEGMAFIA. I don't know if he was drunk, high, or just very honest on Twitter. But at the end of last year, he tweeted a list of artists that he really want to work with, including Danny Brown. I think he had like Vince Staples on there, Earl, some Griselda members, if I remember correctly, like a list of artists he wanted to work with. And I guess Danny Brown like noticed that and he reached out, and then they started working. They've been cooking for a while, and Danny Brown on his podcast, he actually had JPEGMAFIA on there, and they discussed the album real quick. They discussed the recording process, saying that they spent a lot of time together. They did a lot of songs. It was kind of hard to choose the type of songs that JPEGMAFIA was very patient with Danny Brown, because Danny Brown sometimes would be high, sometimes would be drunk, sometimes would be sober, and it's a different mood with different type of artists to work with every time. But you could really tell from the podcast that they have built some amazing chemistry, and you definitely get to hear that on this album. And as soon as they previewed Lean Beef Patty on the podcast, I was hyped for the album. I was ready. I thought the track was very interesting, wild, and I was like, yo, I don't know what to expect, but I just know I'm gonna have some fun with this album. And this is exactly what I got. The first listen, I enjoyed more the listening experience than the actual product, if that makes sense. Like, from songs to song, I was just trying to figure out, okay, what the fuck type of sound is that they use? What sample did they use? What kick? Why did they do that? What are they talking about? Why is the mixing like that? Everything. Like, I was just confused but entertained as fuck. So it started with Lean Beef Patty, obviously. Good Opponent, Step Big, great track. Scaring the Hoes. Scaring the Hoes is probably one of the wildest cut that we got on the album. I like it. But the next track is my favorite by far. Garbage Pail Kids. Like, this track is amazing. Like, from the beat, Danny Brown being goofy, the JPEGMAFIA waffle at the end. Like, this track is just amazing. Honestly, and it's funny also. So yeah, loved it. Fentanyl Tester was good. Perfect was cool. I wasn't crazy about Perfect, but still cool. Shut Your Bitch Ass Up and Muddy Waters were just a wild cut. Loved it. Like, top 5 song of the album. Orange Juice Jones, another one. Like, They Don't Let Up. Kingdom Heart Keys. That was the first kind of switch up beat wise on the album. It was more mellow. They still had the heavy heavyweights in the background and everything, but it was softer. But it was still good. They flowed on that. And Red Veil, like, I didn't expect his presence on the album. He's the only feature, and he definitely held his own. Like, it didn't feel out of pocket at all. Like, it makes sense actually on that track, which was surprising. So shout out to him. God Loves You, back on that wild shit. Same with Run the Jewels. It's a solo Danny Brown track. He went crazy, as we expect from it. Jack Harlow Combo Meal is my second favorite track on this album. It's very metal, very jazzy, something that you would hear at a restaurant, music wise. And Danny Brown just started going crazy. And at the end of the verse, he had one of the most clever metaphor I've heard in a while. So he ended the verse by saying he ain't fucking with niggas who let Jack Harlow sell y'all chicken. So obviously, just the statement in itself is funny, but what he actually meant, he called out the industry and the fans that support the white rappers or the white artists that do not contribute anything creativity wise to the game, but still somehow end up on top of the charts, end up being pushed by the machine every time, like they're the best thing out. Like it makes no sense, and they take away from black culture. So he called it out, and he also mentioned that Jack Harlow KFC commercial on the podcast with JPEG Mafia was funny. So I really like that line. JPEG Mafia closed it out great. He had a little bit a little singing bridge in the middle that was funny also. Um, and yeah, so I really like what Danny Brown had to say, because it's definitely something that needs to be mentioned in the game. We have some amazing white contributors who are definitely earned this spot in the game. For example, my favorite producer right now is The Alchemist. He's white, he's amazing. I really like Kenny Beats, producer as well. Obviously, legends like Eminem, Mac Miller. So nothing against those guys, but it's the Jack Harlows, the G-Eazy's, the NGKs, like they gotta go. Or we need to stop getting behind those guys for whatever reason. Like it's more deserving people that needs to be put out there. So yeah, Heaven on Earth was amazing, and it ended with Where You Get Your Coke From. It's another hard cut, but not one of my favorite. So yeah, so with this album, I would really like to applaud the artists, man, for the risk that they took. Like I can't stress enough how impressed I am, first of all, with JPEGMAFIA's production choices, and the creativity that he had. Like the way he used the samples, the way he kind of mixed a bunch of sounds that would be annoying by themselves, but he was able to make them work together. And with all of the collection of wild sounds that he actually used on the production, it's still a cohesive body of work overall. And shout out to Danny Brown for still being hilarious and a top tier rapper. Coming off, you know what I'm saying, I was definitely craving for some new Danny Brown, and I'm very happy with what I got. So man, this album definitely got my stamp. Please check this album out. Check both of these artists out and support real artistry, man. I wish we would get more projects like this. And yeah, like they call this album "Scaring the Hoes," and it's definitely it would work. They could have also called the album "Scaring the Homies," because man, like I know zero, and I do mean zero people that I could play this around and not look crazy. But I really like the direction that they took. In the podcast, when they spoke about the album, they actually said that the title of the album was supposed to be "Scaring the Hoes Volume 1," meaning that we may get a Volume 2, Volume 3. So if they make this a series, I'm here for it. If not, I'm still very happy with what I got. 36 minutes, 14 songs, so straight to the point, quick listens, in and out. This is definitely a mood album. You gotta be in party or wilding out mood, or you're not gonna want to play this. But yeah, this is a guilty pleasure for me. This is going to get a lot of replay value, but just me by myself though. So yeah, what I would really like from these artists is to have another version, but kind of like what Denzel Curry and Kenny Beats did with the Unlock series, that the Unlock 1, and I would love a Volume 2 with a lot of features, because a lot of artists, I would be so curious to hear how they would sound over this. Some artists that would make sense to some artists that would not make sense. Like for example, I would love to hear Griselda members over some of these productions and see what they would do, because yeah, it would just make for some very entertaining music and some very, very surprising features. So hopefully they do that in the future. If they just come back as a duo again, I'm here for it. And yeah, man, support real art, support real artists. Get in the comment section. Please like the video. Tell me what you think about the album. Is it an album of the year contender? Because I definitely think it is. If you didn't like it, why? And I appreciate you guys for checking me out, and I'll catch you guys very soon with more reviews. Peace.